When a black architect walks into an upscale boutique on Rodeo Drive, she expects elegance, not humiliation. But when a sales clerk applies light foundation to her arm without permission, claiming it's to match the clothes, what happens next leaves the entire store in shock. This powerful moment turns into a lesson no one will forget. Watch to the end to see how one woman's courage sparked real change. The air on Rue du Faubourg Saint-Honoré was crisp, carrying the faint scent of espresso from nearby cafes and the rustle of designer shopping bags. It was a late March afternoon in Paris, 2025, and the street, lined with the world's most exclusive boutiques, was alive with the hum of wealth and ambition. Danielle Monroe, a 42-year-old architect with a sharp eye for detail and a quiet confidence, stepped into Maison Éclat, a high-end fashion house known for its timeless elegance. She wasn't here for leisure. She needed a formal gown for an upcoming gala hosted by the European Architectural Society, where she'd be presenting her latest project, a sustainable cultural center in Lisbon. Danielle adjusted her coat, her dark curls brushing her shoulders as she scanned the store. The interior gleamed with polished marble and soft lighting, racks of silk and satin shimmering like art installations. She'd chosen Maison Éclat not just for its reputation, but because she'd heard whispers of its progressive ethos, a rarity in an industry often stuck in outdated traditions. At least, that's what she'd hoped. A sales assistant approached, her heels clicking with purpose. She was young, maybe mid-20s, with a sleek blonde bob and a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her name tag read Chloe. "Bonjour, madame. How may I assist you today?" she asked, her tone polite but clipped. "I'm looking for a gown," Danielle replied, her voice steady. "Something formal, understated but striking, for a gala." Chloe nodded, her gaze flickering over Danielle, her deep brown skin, her tailored coat, the way she carried herself with an architect's precision. "Of course. Let's see what we can find. Follow me." She led Danielle to a rack of dresses, pulling out a few options, a deep emerald silk, a midnight blue velvet. They were beautiful, but Danielle's eye caught on a cream-colored gown with subtle gold threading, a piece that felt both bold and refined. "This one," Danielle said, lifting it gently. "Can I try it on?" Chloe hesitated, her lips pursing slightly. "It's a stunning choice, but let me check something." She disappeared behind a counter, returning moments later with a small bottle in hand. Before Danielle could process what was happening, Chloe uncapped it, a lightweight foundation, and dabbed it onto Danielle's forearm without asking. The cool liquid streaked across her skin, a shade far too pale, leaving an unnatural smear. Danielle froze, her breath catching. "What are you doing?" Chloe's smile tightened. "Oh, it's just to help you match the collection better. That gown, it's designed with a certain aesthetic in mind. You understand, yes?" The words hung in the air, sharp and insidious. Danielle's pulse quickened, but she kept her composure. Years of navigating subtle slights in boardrooms and construction sites steadying her. "No, I don't understand," she said, her voice low but firm. "You don't have my permission to touch me, let alone put makeup on me. Explain yourself." Chloe blinked, clearly unprepared for resistance. "It's not personal, madame, it's just policy. Some clients prefer a cohesive look when they shop here." "Policy?" Danielle's eyes narrowed. "Whose policy? Yours? The store's? Because I'd like to speak to whoever's in charge of that." Chloe faltered, her confidence cracking. "I'll get the manager," she muttered, retreating toward the back of the store. Danielle stood there, the gown still in her hands, the foundation drying on her arm like a mark of shame she refused to accept. Around her, other shoppers glanced her way, some curious, some uncomfortable, but she held her ground, her chin high. Moments later, a woman emerged from the back. She was older, maybe 50, with a severe bun and an air of authority. Her name tag read Margaux, store manager. "Madame, I'm so sorry for any misunderstanding," she began, her tone smooth but guarded. "What seems to be the issue?" Danielle didn't mince words. "Your employee just applied makeup to my skin without my consent, claiming it's to match your collection. I'd like to know if this is how Maison Éclat treats its customers, or just the ones who don't fit some unspoken standard." Margot's expression tightened, but she didn't flinch. "I assure you, this isn't our policy. Chloe must have misinterpreted her training. I'll address it immediately." "Misinterpreted?" Danielle pressed. "She said it was to make me fit your aesthetic. That doesn't sound like a mistake. It sounds like a pattern. Has this happened before?" Margaux hesitated, a flicker of unease crossing her face. And that was all Danielle needed to know she'd struck a nerve. "I want to hear it from her," Danielle said, nodding toward Chloe, who lingered nearby, shifting uncomfortably. "And I want to know what you're going to do about it." The manager sighed, turning to Chloe. "Explain yourself. Now." Chloe's cheeks flushed. "It's just, some clients complain if the look doesn't match the brand. I thought I was helping. It's not about her. It's about the image." Danielle's jaw tightened. "The image," she repeated. "And what image is that? One where people like me don't belong unless we're altered to fit?" The room grew quieter, the weight of her words settling over the store. Margaux rubbed her temple, clearly weighing her next move. "Chloe, wait in my office," she said sharply. The sales assistant scurried off, head down. Then Margaux turned back to Danielle. "I apologize sincerely. This is unacceptable and it will be dealt with. Please let me make this right." Danielle studied her, unconvinced. "I don't want platitudes. I want to know this won't happen again, to anyone. Because if this is your culture, it's not just Chloe who's the problem." Before Margaux could respond, a soft voice piped up from behind the counter. "It's not the first time." But a young employee, barely 20, with wide eyes and a nervous tremble, stepped forward. Her name tag read Lila. "She's done it before. To a woman last month. I didn't say anything then, but I should have." Danielle turned to her, surprised but grateful. Margot's face paled. "Lila, what are you It's true," Lila said, her voice gaining strength. "I saw it, and I heard her laugh about it later with another assistant. They didn't think anyone would care." The revelation hung heavy, a crack in the polished facade of Maison Éclat. Danielle felt a surge of something, anger, yes, but also resolve. This wasn't just about her anymore. It was about every person who'd walked through those doors and been made to feel less than. And now, with Lila's courage, the tide might actually turn. The boutique felt smaller now, the air thick with tension. Danielle stood firm, her gaze shifting between Margaux, whose polished veneer was fraying, and Lila, the young employee who'd just shattered the silence. Shoppers lingered at the edges, pretending to browse but clearly listening. Danielle wiped the foundation from her arm with a tissue from her purse, the gesture deliberate, a quiet reclaiming of her dignity. Margaux cleared her throat, her voice strained. "Lila, this is not the time." "It's exactly the time," Danielle cut in, her tone unwavering. "She's telling you what's happening under your watch. If you didn't know, that's negligence. If you did, it's worse. So which is it? Margaux's lips thinned, caught between defensiveness and damage control. I assure you, I was unaware of any prior incidents. Chloe's actions were her own, and she'll face consequences. Consequences? Lila's voice trembled but held. She's not the only one. I've heard others, assistants, even a stylist, make comments about clients' skin, their accents, their everything. They laugh in the break room. I didn't speak up because I'm new, and I need this job. But it's not right. Danielle's chest tightened. This wasn't just one rogue employee. It was a culture, festering behind the boutique's glossy exterior. She turned to Margaux. You're the manager. You set the tone. If this is how your staff behaves, it's on you to fix it, not just with words, but with action. Margaux hesitated, then nodded curtly. You're right. I'll investigate fully. Chloe will be terminated, and we'll retrain the team. This won't happen again. Danielle raised an eyebrow. Termination's a start, but retraining? That's a buzzword. How do I know it's not just a PR move? I'm not here to be placated. I want proof this place can change. Before Margaux could respond, the boutique's glass doors swung open, and a tall man in a tailored suit strode in. His presence commanded attention. Silver hair, sharp features, a faint accent marking him as someone who'd spent years abroad. He carried a leather briefcase, and his eyes swept the room with quiet authority. Margaux stiffened. Monsieur Laurent, she said, forcing a smile. I didn't expect you today. Laurent Dubois, the regional director of Maison Éclat's European branches, raised a hand to silence her. I was nearby. A client texted me about a disturbance. What's going on? Danielle seized the moment. I'll tell you. Your employee, Chloe, applied makeup to my skin without consent to match your collection. She claimed it's policy. Your manager says it's not. But another employee, she nodded at Lila, confirms it's happened before. I'd say you have a problem bigger than one bad hire. Laurent's brow furrowed as he listened, his gaze shifting to Margaux, then Lila, then back to Danielle. This is unacceptable, he said, his voice low but firm. Madame, I apologize on behalf of Maison Éclat. We pride ourselves on elegance, not exclusion. Margaux, bring Chloe out. Now. Margaux disappeared into the back, returning with Chloe, who looked smaller now, her earlier bravado gone. Laurent didn't waste time. Is this true? Did you touch this woman without permission? Chloe stammered. I didn't mean to offend. It's just how we've always. Laurent's tone sharpened. There's no always about this. You're done here. Pack your things. He turned to Margaux. And you? How did this slip past you? Margaux opened her mouth, but no excuse came. Laurent waved her off. We'll discuss your role later. For now, I want every employee in the staff room in 10 minutes. This ends today. Danielle watched, impressed but not fully satisfied. Firing her is a step, she said to Laurent. But Lila's right. There's more to it. Your brand's image isn't just about dresses. It's about who gets to wear them. Fix that, or this place is a lie. Laurent met her gaze, a flicker of respect in his eyes. You're direct. I appreciate that. Stay, if you'd like. See what we do next. She considered it, then nodded. I will, and I'm still buying that gown on my terms. An hour later, the boutique was quiet, the shoppers gone. Danielle sat in a plush chair near the fitting rooms, the cream gown draped over her lap. In the staff room, muffled voices rose and fell. Laurent's stern directives, Margaux's clipped responses, the nervous murmurs of the team. Lila had joined them, her small act of bravery now a catalyst. When Laurent emerged, he looked weary but determined. "We've started," he said, sitting across from Danielle. "Chloe's gone. I've suspended 2 others pending review." Lila named names. "We're bringing in a consultant to overhaul our training, not just here, but across all branches. It's not a fix overnight, but it's a commitment." Danielle nodded slowly. "Good. But it's not just about training. It's about who you hire, who you promote. People like Lila, they're your future. Listen to them." He smiled faintly. "You sound like an architect, building from the ground up." "I am," she said, returning the smile, "and I don't design things that collapse." Lila stepped out then, her face flushed, but her shoulders squared. "They asked me to help," she said shyly, "to tell them what I've seen. I didn't expect that." Danielle stood, handing her a business card. "You're braver than you think, Lila. Call me if you ever need advice. Or a reference. You've got a voice. Use it." Lila took the card, her eyes bright. "Thank you. I'm sorry for what happened to you." "Don't be," Danielle said. "You helped turn it around. That's what matters." That evening, Danielle stood in her hotel room overlooking the Seine, the cream gown hanging in the closet. She'd bought it, not because she forgave the store, but because she refused to let Chloe's actions define her choice. The gala was in 2 days, and she'd wear it with pride, her presence a statement louder than words. Her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. "Madame Monroe, this is Laurent Dubois. I wanted you to know. We've begun." Lila's input was invaluable today. "She's staying on with a promotion. Thank you for pushing us. Enjoy the gala." Danielle smiled, setting the phone down. It wasn't a perfect victory. Racism didn't vanish with one firing or one meeting, but it was a crack in the wall, a shift in the foundation. She thought of Lila, of the clients who'd come after her, of the quiet battles fought every day in places like this across the world. Paris, with its beauty and its flaws, was just one stage. The next morning, she walked past Maison Éclat on her way to a meeting. The windows sparkled, the dresses gleamed, but something felt different, a subtle shift in the air. Inside, she glimpsed Lila at the counter, assisting a customer with a shy but genuine smile. Margaux was nowhere in sight. Danielle kept walking, her mind already on her next design. The story wasn't over, not for her, not for Lila, not for the boutique. Change was slow, messy, incomplete, but it was possible. And somewhere out there, another Chloe would think twice, another Lila would speak up, and another Danielle would refuse to be erased. The city stretched before her, a tapestry of old and new, shadows and light. What happened next depended on who'd pick up the thread.